you devils out there. Okay, it's Friday. So we're going to look at Bitcoin. Just across the board, this is a pretty good example of a period of time when it's just, you don't want to be trading right now. And anything you're doing, you're forcing it. The setups in crypto are just not there. There are very few coins that are rallying. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, right? And certainly, if they start to rally, there'll be plenty of time to get on board. But right now, you're better to take a little breather, watch March Madness. It's anything other than try and grind it into crypto. I mean, even if you're trying to very short term play it, there's no trend. We're just here's Bitcoin. Of course, I'm pulling. Where did I pull that from? Oh shit! Here, let's just do it again. I think I pulled it from this low, but let's just do it again. Oh, give me a second here. Get rid of that. Let's do it again. Let's go from the low here. This is from the proposed wave 4. All right, so we're sitting here, okay, on the edge of the value area here. Okay, maybe, right? That's a, you're trying to talk yourself into something here. Could it rally from here? Yeah, yes, of course. Is the technical evidence there? Well, from an LA perspective, absolutely not. There's not an impulse here. There's not a diag. This is just consolidation. We are sitting in this little pocket. Oh, we've talked about this. It seems like years. All right, this little gap here after the election here. This has now been all filled in. You're noting here that I've got this pulled, and we've gone right into a golden zone. Now, people, I don't know if they listened to the video. I made a huge point of saying, okay, I'm pulling from the proposed wave 4 low. Right now, this little measured move algo does not care about your Elliott count, right? So while from an Elliott perspective, that's interesting, that's a bit of a, I mean, that's such a minor pivot, right? If anything, the algo would pull from this, right? That's the lowest low before we go to the highest high. And that would put us at the 50 with more downside here. You note here, I've got an alert there, which is tied to the prior high here. Okay, chillax, people, right? I was just making that point. I had several people go off on that. I'm not trying to create the illusion here that it's time to be a buyer because we're bouncing out of the golden zone. I'm just identifying a technical event here. Okay, maybe. But whether you get encouraged by that or not, or you're looking here, if you take this down, let's go to a 60-minute. Last thing we see is a 5 down, right? Now we know, of course, we begin and we end in 5s. Okay, so there's a 5. The Elliott count, and again, we've been through this the last several weeks. This is a 3. There's a zigzag that goes into this low here, sweeps the low here. Now coming off of that, that is nothing you want to trade, right? It's almost uncountable. We're not going to know until we get some expansion. We move one side or the other. There was maybe it's a diag in here. This maybe that's your correction. It's just, I've been doing this for so long. When you see something like that, don't put your hopium or your dopamine need, your Jones for some dopamine here to take a trade here. There is nothing to take advantage of here. You have absolutely no edge here, none. So if you're trading it, you're doing it because you're jonesing, right? You need a little action in your day. Terrible place to enter the market. Not to mention, even if we rally here, our best case is that we'd come out of here. I don't even know how you'd count this. It's so incredibly ugly. We're looking for a 5 here to complete a C for an X wave before one more down. Now, is the market obligated to do that? Absolutely not. All right, so I try to emphasize this. Virtually every video I've ever done. The market is under no obligation to do anything ever. It's going to do what it's going to do. We're just trying to use the precedent of 7 years of Elliott Wave analysis here to say, okay, can we make some sense out of this chaos? If we put some rules and some guidelines around this, does that assist? Well, that's open to interpretation based on the trader. I would propose to you, yes, of course, right? With many years of doing this. But if we apply Elliott Wave here, I can see a 3 and then I can see a zigzag. It can't be 1, 2. It can't be a diag. Those, because we're eliminating possibilities as it sits right now. Remember, an Elliott Wave count is just a snapshot in time. Right now, this looks like what we've got going on here, that any kind of rally here would be, the implication would be not that we have a good low here. I'd be damned if I can find a count that gets us done here. It's tempting to think, okay, there's an ABC to complete a Y, or somehow try and get it done here, because indeed we do, as I said moments ago, we begin and we end in 5s, right? Well, there's an ending 5. Couldn't we get out of here? I just don't see a count here that makes sense. I mean, I suppose you could, maybe you could talk yourself into a WXYXZ, something like that. But without a better launch here, I'm not touching that. I mean, for what that's worth, I just there's nothing here to take advantage of. No edge. The only thing, right? If you're just God, I got to do something, right? Well, okay, edge of value. Maybe you got a shot that, the POC is a good target. It's not a place to enter, but it's a good place to exit. The POC of this range that I drew up, okay, maybe you got a target there. Maybe. You want to put money at risk on that? See, I think you just got to be patient here. I mean, there's a lot of positive developments. This administration, right? Love them, hate them. It's, I would probably split amongst those that watch these videos. Regardless of your opinion of this administration, they're doing some positive things for crypto. The digital financial technology executive order that Trump signed, okay, well, we're going to keep the central banks out of it. That should be bullish, but that's right. Why aren't we rallying? Right? It's just, I think, it's just a time of year. The massive amount of uncertainty. Right? We don't know the outcome of the tariffs. It's possible we get out of here with. This is beneficial for the markets. It's possible, but the uncertainty is keeping the market just on edge and unsure, and so we're just range bound. I mean, it doesn't look much better in the indexes here, which we'll look at in a second. So my strong advice here is to just take a break. Don't fight a lack of trend. When we see a trend, see if you're chasing something right here, you're just dying to get in. Again, if we start to go here, again, good luck counting that. If something starts to rally here, there'll be plenty of opportunity to get on board it. I just think people get so caught up in well, shit, I don't want to miss it. I got higher high, I got a higher low, I got higher high, I got higher low. Okay, again, okay, maybe. But let's just take the most obvious thing we could look at right here. Whoops, right there. Okay, before anything happens, before we're going anywhere, we got to get on the other side of that golden zone, right? Because there's an algo sitting there. It's going to fight you. And then you got to go here, right? And you got to get through that. And then you got to go here. And then you got to go here, right? We're not going anywhere until we get on the other side of that, right? So we got to get up to the POC, which is my point, babe. This is a great place, right? If you're just got to have a trade, that's a great place to take profit. And it would be consistent with the count. So if you're applying Elliott Wave and you come to watch these videos, whether you're a member or just a subscriber, if you come here to look for some Elliott Wave guidance, my view is we're going to go up here and then we're going to go. That's what I'm anticipating. Now, again, that doesn't mean that I'm right. That doesn't mean that that's what the market's going to do. Again, it's not obligated to do anything. But just as a technician, nothing's happening till we get on the other side of that. So with that said, let's keep moving. Now, just to stay in crypto, and then I'm going to finish. We'll take a look at maybe the ES and the NQ. There are a couple of cryptocurrencies, one in particular. This is the only one I've seen that's got any sort of meaningful trend. This is OM, Mantra, I guess what we call it. Let's pull back to a daily, right? And this is one of the few that really is trending here. Now I've taken it out of log scale here just to get some perspective on this. Let me take this off just for a second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now there's a rip-roaring impulse, right? That's what we're looking for. Out of log scale, because I want to identify where 50% of the range is. You see, I've got an alert here. If we can come down a little bit lower, okay, that's going to look very appealing. And I think the distortion in log scale, you got to be careful, which is why I always encourage you to look at it in both. Okay, we're coming from 1.01 cent and change. It's not a clear, whoa, where's the 2, 3? This looks 4-ish, right? So you're going to have to dig something out of here. It's really just straight up. We had a little pause here, and then another 5 comes out of it. So that's why, you in log scale, put the 50 and the golden zone on here. Okay, we got to get down to 38 cents. Out of log scale, right, looks dramatically different. Now, do we need to be in log scale? Well, at 4 times the range, you of course, you have to look at it. So if we dig into it here, it may be easier to see. If we get into this range here, so from 350, well, that's 3 times the range. So you're on the edge here. It does look like it's a series of 3. So it looks like I've got an ABC into a proposed X, and now we're heading back down for a Y. A short opportunity, well, you're a bit late. I didn't take it. Right? I rarely short crypto, but okay. But in terms of analyzing, okay, where is there opportunity? Well, we can come down here. 450 in that range. It looks pretty encouraging. Now, remember, as this is if you studied a price action, Al Brooks, Thomas Wade's another one who's made a real name for himself teaching Al Brooks, right? But his version of it. The break of the trend line here is encouraging because that's a sucker bait, right? That's for retail to chase, right? And right. So what you'll learn if you study that price action here is that the first break of a trend line like this is indeed the sucker play, because the odds are, again, there's no guarantees, there's no absolute, there's no market must. The odds play for a break of that low, right? So we'd come down and chase that low. Now we can look at the measured move here off of the B high. Well, that would make perfect sense, right? We'd sweep the low, we'd come down here. Maybe we go second target, maybe we get the Y down here. Then you'd additionally probably look at this, want to look for some fib relationship, wrong one. Fib relationship here. What is 100%? This is clearly the 4 before we go up here in this, it's easier to spot here out of log scale. If that's 3, 4, and we go up for the 5 here, WXY into the prior support, it just makes logical sense, right? Now, again, is the market going to do that? Well, we'll find out. If it does, I'm very interested in being a buyer down here. Until then, it's too late to short it. Right? Something I've been emphasizing a lot lately. Right? This is the decision. This is the only decision we ever make. Right? There is no place on the chart where this isn't the only thing you're doing. Right? Which way are we going to go? This way? We're going to go this way. Right? I've got a range here, and it's a 3. Right? Put your Elliott hat on. Okay, maybe we start into a diag, but the odds would suggest not, right? Then add in the price action development here, and that price pattern and the tendency to break to a new low after the first break of that trend line. Well, that would suggest a good chance we're heading down here. So which side breaks, right? Do we hold and this side breaks? Or do we break down this way, right? My bet would be we're breaking down this way, which creates the next opportunity. Well, if we come down here, we get into that support and we get a rally, it's the same decision again. Do we break? Do we hold? Do we hold? We're going to break again. We're going this way, right? That's all you're ever doing. Which is why, if you think of some of the things that we harp on consistently here, where was my stop going to be? All right, pretty clear, right? I can buy in the discount of that range with a lower stop. So my risk reward is always better to be buying in the discount, right? It's just as simple can be. But that's the criteria. So since we don't know, and there is no knowing, the only thing we have to lean on is what does it tend to do? Do we have pattern recognition? Do we have technical support, right? All of the things that a technician would look at and say, well, again, what does it usually do? Well, if this comes down here, and we don't have it yet, but if we're going to come down here, this is an X, and I'm looking for this to complete an ABC, because that's the implication here as it sits. If I come down here and I do it this way, well, my expectation is that we're forming a base down here off of what's come prior, the context, that I'm looking for this to lead to this. And that's where I want to be a buyer, because all of the precedent supports that. I feel, at least whether I do or not, at least in my mind, I have an edge, right? If I believe I have an edge, I'll take the trade. If I don't see an edge, no trade, i.e. Bitcoin. There's no edge there. Here, right, that was, okay, again, it's late for the short, but this is one to have on your radar, right? Again, it's got a strong use case, security. This has good odds of surviving, right? I don't know how many coins we have now. I've lost track. There's so many of them. 95, if not 99% of them aren't going to be here 5 years from now. You got to know that. Now, whatever your favorite altcoin is, right? Well, of course, that one will survive. Most won't. That's the reality of it. Just accept it. Don't fight it. Right? Now, that doesn't mean you can't make money off of, some of the schlop, the meme coin bullshit that's out there. It doesn't. People have made millions, tens, if not hundreds of millions off of coins that have absolutely no utility value. So I'm not saying don't trade them. I'm just saying understand what you're trading. If you're trading a meme coin, at least be very clear about what you're doing. Okay, so this one does look good here. I'd get this very, very high up on your watch list. Let's just work through a few that have some potential. Hedera is another one here. Oh, what have I got here? This is the Elliott oscillator here, and this is Ichimoku oscillator, right? Just takes all the the lines off the chart, right? So, but the same idea. So there's potentially some divergence here. Now, I'm out of log scales here. We're banging on the edge of the golden zone here and on the value area here. I'm pulling from this low. Now, take that out, or excuse me, put that in log scale. Right? Looks a little different, but we're still in the value area here. Could we be done here? Well, that's not a great looking 1-2, right? I mean, it's pretty skinny. I don't even know if we can get away with it. It looks like it hasn't broken yet, but that's well, if you wanted a very low risk trade, that's about as low risk as I can put in front of you. You wanted to be a buyer there. What's your premise here? That's a 1? Again, my suggestion is, unless you're just willing to park some money here because you're a long-term believer, and Hedera may very well be one that survives. 1, 2, right? That's the only thing you could really come up with here. You'd have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B. What are we doing down here? It's 1, 2. I doubt it. Again, don't let FOMO get you here, right? You have no idea which way that's going. Now, so is there a trend here? Definitely not. Makes it easy to enter the market, but which way are we going? Well, we sweep that low, and this idea is over. Maybe it's A, B, but it's not 1, 2, right? At least, I mean, it could be at this moment in time. We haven't swept that low. Okay, if you're just, if you love the story here, you can park some money here, I suppose, right? Edge of value, right? So at least you have a slight edge here, buying at the edge of value. And if you wanted to be, aggressive on the size, well, you put a stop down here somewhere and probably not get yourself in trouble. But why? Let it break. Take the retrace, right? Wait for some evidence. This was great evidence. This is awfully ugly retrace. Again, I'm not saying that's not going to be a 1, 2. Maybe. But see, we get so caught up in, I missed the turn. Shit. Well, I can't trade it now. Not true. Right? You want to be really disciplined? Wait for that. Take the retrace. Up to you, right? I can't do it for you. I just would encourage you to not be in such a hurry, right? What's the problem in crypto right now? People are getting impatient. Oh, man. Crypto-friendly admin. We got all this. We got the digital financing technology executive order. Why is crypto not moving? I mean, it's literally, it's going to bore us to death, which is very atypical for crypto, right? But there are so few uptrends, right? They're very few. If they were there, other than OM, that's about it. I don't think I have anything else. Oh, Ripple. Okay, right. So another one which, okay, right. I mean, all the potential is there, but is that we're sitting right at the POC? Terrible. I mean, perhaps one of the worst places to enter. Again, you have no edge here. Market. Everybody agrees that that's a fair price. So what's your edge? It's not going to be the great finish. Remember, we begin and we end in 5s. That's a 3. Now you could say, oh, it's ABC. Okay, all right. Are we going to be done here? Okay, maybe. Let's go down here to a 1 hour. Could you be done? A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? I got an A, B. I've got a zigzag here. A, B. Can't do it that way. All right, so you're going to have to turn this into, well, assuming you can, which you probably could. So you're going to have to turn that into a W, X, Y. Doable? Tricky. It's not clean, right? I mean, it would be, okay, well, maybe. Right, but you have no conviction in that count. This, okay, maybe here, A, B, this is a good 5 to finish, and this is a good 5 to finish. But that's not a great start. And all we've done is just gone back to the POC. Again, if it goes, don't feel like, oh my God, I didn't get that, I didn't buy it at the POC, so I can't, oh, I can't chase it now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, maybe. But again, that is just one of the worst possible places to enter the market. Don't feel like you're going to miss it. If Ripple's going to go, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100, if it's adopted, right, as a alternate to the Swift dinosaur that, you know, if you've had to wire money, you know what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's really, you want to put money at risk on that? Or you want to just buy at the POC just because you're willing to park some capital here? Okay, that's not unreasonable. I mean, again, it's just not good enough. Like, give me that would have been much better. Now it just looks like I've got another ABC going in. As always, there will be. Oh, come here. Where's the resistance? Where's Al? Get you off of here. We break it, or is that just a wick? It's just wicks. Right, it's a teaser, right? It's just wicks. So your most optimistic thought would be 1, 2, 1, 2. You probably got it again here. Of course. Maybe. I'd have a stop on it. My suggestion. Okay, let me, how am I doing? There's 23. All right, this will probably be a short one today, although I say that all the time. All right, let's go over to the ES. All right, this is a really, really tricky count. I think it's actually, I think you can only count it. Hang on a second. You can't quite get the same count if you go to the SPX. It's almost uncountable over here. This is just, there's very challenging to get an Elliott count on this. I'm using the futures because I get some clarity here. And what's the difference here? I get a new high here. I don't here. So I can get a count here that makes sense to me. I can't over here. I can't. A, B, how are you getting a C out of that? It's 3, 3, 3, 3. It's too many threes, right? There's no clear, there's nothing here that I can really lean into, but over here I can get it to make sense. This is, you got to really dig on this, right? So, you know, let's zoom in there even more. What have I got? 2 hour? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I got to account for that. I can't just go, oh, well, that's annoying, right? So, well, let's just not count it. Even this is a little tricky. But once I get out of that, out of this chop, boom, clear impulse, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Gotta account for it. So how do we make sense of that? Well, looks like we can go ABC into a W. This again gets very wacky. It looks like I can go A, B, C into a B, into a C up here to get an X wave. So I've gone W, X. Now this, again, once again, Okay, all right. Can I make this fly? Well, it's not an impulse, right? So I can go ABC here. I can go ABC here into a proposed, right? Because I have a potential flat. It's high enough. We don't sweep the, well, it's close enough, right? As a purist, I just call it a double. I'm at not being a purist. I wouldn't let that alter this count. 3, 3. This looks like I've just got a massive extension, and they don't look like they're connected, but I can't find a way to count it otherwise because of the distance here. I mean, this is now. This is, of course, yeah, we won't get into what's causing this other than, well, let's look at it and try and analyze it. Okay, we've got it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We've got a 5 to finish here, and then this very abrupt retracement here. That itself is already, we've got a 5 here, so I can't go A, B, C because that's a 5. So we're having to just do a little bit of an Elliott shuffle here to call that a 2. This, again, is a very, very ugly, choppy 3, but at least the wave relationship is a little bit better here. If I go 1, 2, okay, we're between the 138 and the 161, but I feel better about that. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3 here. Now we get a bounce, right? And we're getting a little bit of a bounce today, but it's, if you're looking at a 30-minute or 15-minute, it looks a lot bigger than it is, right? I mean, so if you get out here to a 2-hour, okay, a little bounce. Where are we, right on the ledge here of this high volume profile. Here's POC as we're looking at it. I'm drawing this from the top here down. So we're POC, we've just been bouncing around that all day. You'll note here where when we come up to bounce and we put in this little sweep at the high, it's on a low volume node. Makes sense. So 1, 2, 3, 4 does not look like we're done. Now we've got the April 2nd, right? Every trader is aware of that as the tariff timeline. This would be very surprising to me if this was our bottom. We don't have enough fear, enough of a crescendo blowout low here. Yes, we tagged the golden zone here, and we did not close below it, at least here. Oh shit, I can't remember on a daily. We may have on the daily. Let's get in there and just double check it. No, just a wick that went through. I didn't think so. But okay, again, loosely. Oh, there we are on a 2-hour. We did we're close to it. So it's you almost want to pull it off, right? It's been broken enough to where, okay, I'm not leaning into that. Here, what am I going to do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got an A, right? I've got an A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4. Truncation, hard to call it. But that's an impulse. So, okay, could we be done here? Yeah, we could. We could. You'd have to get probably the 3 here. That doesn't look like I've got a clean 5, but we would accommodate that if indeed, if we're going to do this, right? If we do, I'll call it this, something like this, and we start to go next week, I'll be surprised, but certainly it's possible. All right, so as it sits right now, path of least resistance, despite the little bump today, remains down. This is, you might look here, oh, high. Well, what I see here is clearly a 5. Looks like a decent 3. Maybe C. No, it looks like if you're looking at a 5-minute chart today, it looks like, oh, what a nice rally. What really, you look at all this down here, right? All these wicks, right? Rejection wicks, rejection, right? So we're not holding and closing lower here, and we're getting a pretty good pop here. How are you going to count that? Where are you counting from? You going to start here or here? You got a 3 here. So, okay, maybe truncation here. 1, 2. It's kind of the same thing, right? You don't really have a particularly good edge here, right? So why trade it? Again, if you're a sports fan, you're probably already watching March Madness, right? That might be a better time to do that, right? Spring break, it's just not a great time to be in the markets. Just a suggestion. You're going to do what you're going to do. But we sweep this low here. That's what you want to see here. We want to see a low get swept. Oh, if I pull this out here, I'll show you a good example of what you're looking for. Let's go to a 4. There's something, I thought I had something in here I was going to show. Oh, that's right. I'm just, at this point here, it almost doesn't matter. What we want to see is some sort of a sweep at the low here. This is unmitigated order flow here. This is down before we go up, so that's a bullish order flow. That has yet to get tapped, yet to be mitigated. I swear I had something here I was going to show you. It may have been over on the SPX. But here, nonetheless, right? So here we sit, edge of value. Okay, little bounce right here, low volume node. One more crescendo down to sweep all these lows would be what I'd be looking for. Down here, there's going to be, right? We don't even have to wonder, right? We know there's a bunch of stops down here. Sweep that liquidity, then maybe we can get a bounce. Again, you're back to the same decision, right? It's the only decision you ever make as a trader. Which way is going? Which way? Right? You got a range. Which way is it going to break? This way? This way? How do you know? We don't know, but we can use the context to give us a probability advantage. If this completes in a 5 and we get another 5, retrace, put a stop down here. If stopped out, right, it's a small loser. It's not a knockout blow unless you do something stupid like not put a stop on it, right? So if you do that, okay, well then we can go again, right? And then the same decision. Which side? This one, this one. There is no place on the board where that's not. I could drill down to the only decision you ever make. That's it. That's the only decision. This is all trading is. That. Which way? Go the other way, right? I've been harping on this lately just to kind of make the point. Which way? There is no place on the chart where that's not the decision you're making. None. Zero. That's it. That's the only decision you ever make. How do you know? You don't know. You just use context. That's the only way you get edge. Context. No indicator is going to show you. No, it doesn't work that way. It might support your decision, right? But an indicator is always going to lag, right? Price is what matters, right? So swing, we retrace. We going this way? No. Swing. We're going this way or the other way, right? That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep that in your mind's eye so you know it doesn't matter. There is no place on the chart where that's not the only decision you're making. Which way? Which side breaks? And we can do it this way as well. Which side is going to break? This one or this one? That's it, right? That's all trading is. Okay, guys. With that, right, have a nice weekend. Don't force any trades. There'll be plenty of opportunity if something breaks one way or the other and we get some clarity on this. But for the time being, I'd keep your powder dry and wait for better trading opportunities. Okay, with that, I wish you guys a good weekend and catch you next week.